This is the Global Economic Commodities Scrap Metal and Recycling Report by our Bentley Roll-Off Trailers and Lugger Trucks, January 3rd, 2022. We're back after our 1 week off per year. U.S. weekly crude steel production fell to 1.805 million tons. This was on fair demand, imports, and good supply. WTI crude oil price rose to $75.21 a barrel on the global recovery and supply side controls by OPEC and U.S. companies. High prices made oil companies the number one growth sector on Wall Street in 2021. U.S. weekly oil production rose to 11.8 million barrels per day, still 1.3 million barrels off pre-COVID. Controlled tight supply has been terrific for record oil profits. Low production is bringing the higher prices, which are a key part of our 40-year high inflation. The U.S. weekly oil rig count was up to 480, a slight trend up. The low rigs brings the higher prices and inflation, but record oil profits as just discussed. Scrap steel number one HMS price was steady at $465 a gross ton. Prices are set to fall this week on particularly good supply. Hot rolled coil steel price fell to $77.67 per hundredweight, which is $15.53 a ton. This was on lower demand, good supply, and imports. Copper price rose to $4.46 a pound, up 25% in 2021. This was on good Chinese demand, but supply disruptions. Aluminum price rose to $1.28 a pound, which is $28.21 a metric ton, up nearly 40% in 2021. This was on supply constraints due to the lower production. China's December NBS manufacturing index rose to 50.3 with modest growth, but uncertainties remain. China's government is ready to increase stimulus with lower interest rates and increased spending. U.S. third quarter GDP, which is economic growth. Our economy grew at 2.3%, higher than the 2.1 forecast. Personal spending was strong as exports were down. 2021 total growth is forecasted at 5+%. U of M December Preliminary Consumer Sentiment Index. It rose to 70.6 as the gauge of future expectations increased, but the index of current conditions fell. U.S. November new home sales jumped 12.4% versus October. That was the fastest rise in 7 months. This was on solid demand caused by low interest rates, but higher prices. New orders for November U.S. manufactured goods. They rose 2.5% over October. This was as non-defense aircraft and manufactured metal products rose the most. Wall Street's Dow Jones Industrial Average rose to 36,338 and hit a record high during the week. High inflation remains a concern, but many companies had record profits in 2021, and 2022 could beat 2021. Roll-off truck and roll-off trailer parts store at Ben Lee. Buy online 24/7 at our parts web store. We stock parts for Galbraith, Galfab, Dragon, American, Palfinger, and more. We have rollers, pulleys, pins, tarps, cables, tarp arms, motors, and more. All parts shipped the same day we get the order. As always, feel free to call or email me with any questions, and we hope all have a safe and profitable week.